When Russell Hastings was a little boy, he wanted to be a priest. That was his dream. This is his nightmare.
There you go.
The lately past month, I've been on Suboxone. Before that, I was actively using heroin on a day-to-day basis.
You did okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you did okay.
Up, but then the
feels
needle
fine.
got stuck, though.
I know, but it still feels fine, huh?
I was 14 when I first started doing hardcore drugs, and my first drug was crack cocaine, and then it was heroin.
Everything that once mattered to Russell Hastings, including his family and a full-time job, has been lost in the black hole of his addiction.
It always sucks. I mean, words can't even really express what the feeling is like. I mean, it's just, sometimes you just feel like crap because, like, you know, I got a daughter out there and she's almost 3 years old. And I'm sitting here doing drugs.
And when that drug is heroin, it's as easy to buy in downtown Portland as a pack of cigarettes.
It's an epidemic. It's everywhere right now.
Lester Gilkey should know. Until he was arrested a few months ago, he was running heroin from Massachusetts to Maine on a regular basis.
I'd go to Massachusetts 2 or 3 times a day, so I would come up here, sell drugs, go back down, come here, go back down.
He sold drugs to support his own habit.
Right there. That's from, like I said, doing black tar heroin. It scars your veins.
He's now off the street and working hard to stay clean, but there are plenty of dealers lining up to take his place. Maine has one of the highest opiate addiction rates in the country. For a lot of people, the addiction starts with a dependency on pain medications like OxyContin. When they can't get more from a doctor, they start buying prescription drugs illegally.
But today, it's harder to get those pills on the street. And because they're scarce, the price is steep. It's the perfect setup for out-of-state drug dealers who are now flooding Maine with a cheaper, more potent alternative, heroin.
They know there's a need for it, and they're here to make money. It's all about the money.
Scott Pelletier says organized drug rings from New York to Boston are capitalizing on the growing number of addicts here, capitalizing on despair and desperation.
And once they've got that person hooked, that's a steady market for them.
That market is booming. And at the same time, the state has cut back on drug treatment programs for the uninsured. Public health workers with close ties to addicts on the streets of Portland saw this tidal wave coming.
For about a year now, we've been screaming at the top of our lungs that heroin has gotten to be out of control again. And we have seen it grow in numbers here that are staggering.
Alarm transfer, so alarm for engine 6, rescue 1 and rescue 5.
Those staggering numbers are keeping Portland firefighter paramedics busy. They have a front row seat when it comes to the ravages of addiction.
You gotta come down. They're here to help you. Thank you very much.
On this snowy night, they're responding to a possible overdose at the Oxford Street shelter.
Oh, let me go! If you're threatening to punch somebody, you're not going to be let go, okay?
Oh, let me go!
Now we're going to do a couple things here.
Calls like this are now routine.
There's no one scenario that's similar to the other. Every call is completely different. Every overdose is different, so you always have to be flexible. And
when you go into the apartments and you got someone that's overdosed in the bathroom, but you're walking through the apartment and the high chairs in the kitchen, the cribs in the other room, and the neighbors holding on to one of the kids, those are the ones that bother me.
Despite the best efforts of first responders, the number of fatal overdoses in Maine quadrupled between 2011 and 2012. Russell Hastings says that's not surprising, given what's sold on the street.
You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting from anybody, anywhere, anytime. It's the, I don't want to say the price you got to pay, but it's the gamble you take.
He has overdosed, he says, 3 times. Lester Gilkey can top that. He OD'd 4 times in 1 week.
Drugs are more important than everything. My kids, wife, mother, anything. Sold my soul to the devil. I know I can be a better man and a better person when I'm clean, and that's what I want. Will I get it? I don't know. If I was a gambling man, I'd probably bet against me.
Russell Hastings hopes that somehow, some way, he'll beat the odds. Just a few days after he talked with us, he left Maine to try to make a fresh start out west.
And I'm in between like that phase right now, like in my life. Like I'm tired of being high. I'm tired of getting high. I just don't want to be sick anymore.
And he wants to be part of his little girl's life, but he knows he can't be there for her when he lives like this. When it comes to the crisis of heroin addiction in Maine, there are plenty of frightening statistics, but there's no measuring the impact of the thousands of lives in ruins.
When you're in the grips of that disease, it is controlling you. It devastates the spirit, it devastates the personality, it devastates the mind. It takes everything away from you.
And it gives nothing back except heartache. In Portland, Susan Kimball, Portland Press Herald.